There are so many uncertainty happening right now in the financial markets, and I just want to share it with you. In my funded account journey, I have actually realized about $132. And in fact, in the recent time before I actually started documenting my funded account journey, I have realized about, I think about $200 or $250 on that funded account. And right now, my current profit is about $132 on the 10K account. And the reason why I said that there are so many uncertainties that is happening right now in financial markets is because gold, GJ, Euro USD, they are on the bottom rock. I mean, they are on the bottom rock. In a short period of time right now, I'm going to share my screen with you and, let you to know the things that I am seeing in the financial markets. If you are to take trade right now, and probably for you not to actually take trade right now. So I'm going to be sharing what I'm seeing in the financial markets with you, and we are going to be able to see how the financial market is actually doing right now. Majority of traders out there know about the US and Iran war that is actually happening right now. And although I don't trade based on news, I don't even trade based on news. I actually focus on the technicals, because one thing that I believe in the financial market is that as a trader is that even if there is a war happening in other countries, the market will not actually lie to you. And there's this mentor that, or let me say that this big trader, or this big trader that I know, or let me say that he's my mentor as well. He usually say that women lie, men lie, but the chart doesn't lie. And it's actually funny that women lie, men lie, but the chart doesn't lie. So it's actually funny, but one thing that I have realized in my trading journey ever since I started documenting my trading processes since the beginning of this year is that when it is even New York session, I have observed that it is very true that the chart doesn't lie. Because even if there is any geopolitical economy that is happening around the world, it doesn't mean that that is what will actually tell the chart to actually position itself. All right. So, and in fact, I even realized a moment whereby I wanted to trade New York session. And the moment I want to trade that New York session, I already see the confluences aligned already. And immediately New York and London overlap session started, price just immediately skyrocketed to the upside. And that is when I knew that it is very true that the chart doesn't lie. So if you are learning how to trade and you are learning the technical analysis, sincerely, I think that it is one thing that actually give you the idea, the insight about what the market is actually doing at that point in time. And I think that is the reason why they call it technical analysis, because the moment you are able to actually analyze your chart based on technical analysis, then everything is going to be clear to you. You will not need to actually go and read any news out there or anything. So traders, let me just quickly summarize all this before I share my screen with you. All right. So I believe that technical analysis is very, very important in trading, and I just want to share my insights about the gold market, the GBPJPY, and the EURUSD, and my and BTCUSD as well. So trader, let us get right into the video.
So right now, if you look at the gold market, you see that there are so many uncertainty that is happening on the gold market right now. And you can see that so far, since the gold market has been selling to the downside massively, as you can see on the screen right there. All right, so you can see that the gold market is currently at the bottom. Okay, it's currently at the bottom. And where is this zone? This zone is October 2025, which is last year, right? So, and you can see that the current trend on gold right now is like there are so many uncertainties that is going on this gold market right now, because even on the daily time frame right now, you can see that price is, price is more like is consolidating at this daily time frame. So there are so many uncertainty that is happening on the gold market right now. And if I want to show you another pair, in fact I'm going to show you another 3 pairs, so that you know that this time around you need to actually be so much careful about the trade that you are going to take. All right, so but let me just go down to 4-hour time frame so that we can see how the gold market is reacting right here. So right now, although we have a market shift, okay, we have a valid market shift at the daily time frame. All right, so and you can see that the market shift is a confirmed one, okay, because price created lower low right there and created lower highs. So but price tried to break this low, but price could not break this low, right? So which means that this is our last lower highs. Now immediately price reversed all the way down here, creating, in fact it is a liquidity sweep. There was a liquidity sweep below here. So since we have liquidity sweep below here, you can see that price simply skyrockets to the upside, breaking this lower high, which is the daily time frame, right? So on normal ground, we have a valid change of character or market shift at the daily time frame. So since we have a valid market shift at the daily time frame, you can see that price has been trying to push it to the downside again, but price is actually failing to push to the downside. And we have been seeing a valid a great momentum that price wants to push to the upside. You can see that this trend right now is a trend that we can say that okay, price is reacting. Price wants to actually shift from bearish to bullish. All right, so but right now we cannot, because if this level is holding its ground, okay, I expect price should have broke this high. All right, I expect price should have broke this high, but currently price has not broke this high. So it means that we just need to wait. All right, we just need to wait. So let me quickly show you another pair on my watch list right there. So after gold, let me just go for EURUSD. So now let me show you the uncertainty that is going on EURUSD. Although EURUSD is, EURUSD I can say that it have great potential. Okay, and what do I mean by that? You see that EURUSD have great potential for a sell trade, but as I said earlier, it is still an uncertainty. So you see that the EURUSD has shifted from bullish to bearish. All right, because this is the last high that EURUSD traded at, and ever since then price has been selling massively to the downside. All right, price has been selling massively to the downside, and currently price is, even if we check this daily time frame, we'll see that this is our last break of structure. You can see that I have already marked it out. This is our last daily break of structure to the downside on EURUSD, and this is our daily supply zone. And currently you see that immediately price pushed to the downside, price is finding its way back to this supply zone. Okay, price is finding its way back to this supply zone. All right, and currently you can see that price is still more like finding its way back to this supply zone. So I can say that okay, EURUSD have a great potential to push to the downside. And if EURUSD did not break this high, this high right there, it means that we are going to be shifting from bearish to bullish, because immediately if price break above this high, it means that we should be expecting price to buy to the upside. All right, but so far, since Euro USD is reacting this way in a bearish momentum, I think that we need to position ourselves for selling opportunity and buying opportunity. Okay, and if we are going to look for a buy opportunity, it means that price is going to break this high. But if price did not break this high and price is find its way back to this level right here, then I think that we should be looking, we should be looking for a sell trade. Okay, that is, we are not looking for the sell trade blindly. We need to actually add it to our confirmation, and that is the uncertainty that is happening on the Euro USD right now. So let me go and check another pairs so that okay, so we can see this is GBPJPY, this is GJ as it is called. So right now you see that this is daily time frame on GBPJPY, right? So, and you can see that currently price has already tapped into this demand zone, into this daily demand zone. All right, so since price has tapped into this daily demand zone, what should we be expecting? Okay, in fact, I can tell you that it is an uncertainty, because we cannot just enter a buy trade blindly here, or we enter a sell trade blindly, because in my experience, I believe that if we want to buy any currency, it means that we are going to be buying at a demand zone, and if we want to sell a currency, it means that we are going to be selling at a supply zone. That is the law of supply and demand. And for more confirmation, I think that we need to combine our strategy with liquidity concepts as well. So right now you can see that currently, even on the daily time frame, GJ is in an uptrend. You can see a massive uptrend, higher highs, higher low, higher highs, higher low. So we should expect price to actually push to the upside, because you see that price has been, in fact, if we look at this zone right here, this is the daily break of structure, and currently price has already tapped into this daily break of structure. Okay, I mean, price has already tapped into this daily demand zone right here. So, but one thing that I'm not sure of is that if this demand zone is going to hold, because the beginning of this demand zone is around here. This is the beginning of this demand zone. Okay, so let me just mark this out. Okay, this green candle right there, I mean this selling candle. Okay, this selling candle is our valid, I mean, is the external demand zone that I think that we should be looking out for before we actually consider a buy trade, because this is the zone at which price actually, this is the zone at which price actually shifted to the downside, and this is where buyers actually take control of price, okay, and break this high. So that is what actually give me the confirmation that this is the valid demand zone that we have on GJ. So traders, there are so many uncertainties that is happening on the financial market right now. Okay, so but let us just try as much as possible, or I am trying so much as possible to not take an impulsive trade. I want to wait for price to actually react very well. I want to wait for my confirmation before I enter the trade. And the last but not the least, because I don't want this video to be long, the last but not the least is BTC. All right, I know that it is not part of Forex pairs, but I think that I have looked at BTC very well, and I have seen, I have even traded the BTC for some time right now, and my strategy is actually working out on the BTC market. So right now, same thing on the BTC. You can see that BTC is in a downward trend. I mean, it has been creating lower lows, lower highs, lower low, lower highs, lower low, lower highs, lower low, lower highs, and I cannot say that BTC is going to continue this selling momentum. I don't know, but the uncertainty that is on BTC right now is that currently we have a break of structure to the downside. In fact, I cannot call it a break of structure because this is not a valid break of structure. So I can say that this is a liquidity sweep that happened on the daily time frame. And this is, price created lower lows, lower highs. So this is the last high, this is the last low that actually failed. Okay, this is the last low that actually failed. So if price actually broke this high, okay, if actually I didn't mean that price broke this high, then we should be looking for a buy setup. But currently you can see what price is actually doing. Price is currently respecting this daily supply zone, and you can see that immediately it respect this daily supply zone, price has been moving. We have been seeing, selling momentum in the financial market, which means that price might actually sell to the downside. But it is still an uncertainty, all right, because I don't want to do in-depth analysis on this, 4 pairs that I'm currently analyzing. I don't want to do deep analysis, all right. So but what I just want you to know is that there are so many uncertainties that is happening right now in the financial market, and you just need to actually ensure that you are not taking an impulsive trade. Try as much as possible, don't get trapped into consolidation zone if you don't know how to trade very well right now. Okay, so and I just hope that all beginner traders out there, we are all going to be a profitable trader if we are, if we have this discipline, if we have focus, and if we have good risk management. All right, so I believe that trading is more about learning how to wait for the right setup. Even waiting for this right setup sometimes is not, it can take, in fact, more than a week. Sometimes it can take more than 24 hours. It can take even 2 weeks. Sometimes it can take a month for the right setup to come to us. So but the truth of the matter is that we want to actually learn to actually wait for price to come to us before we can make our decision. So traders, this is what I want to share to you today, and I hope that you find this video helpful. So take care of yourself.